Alright, my name is Lilian. I'm going to be reading law soon. And I've got this question right now. And I'm sure this question resonates with many of us here. My question is, how can there be one Malaysia when there is NEP?
Three questions, then we can answer the next three. So,
alright, my question is directed to Mr. Khairy. Okay, we have read a lot about you and your speech, your thoughts before in the press, in the internet, everywhere. So I'm confused sometimes about your stand. Sometimes you fight for the rights of certain race. Sometimes you talk about unity. So may I know what's your stand on these issues? And would you repeat the same content of your speech to the members of your party and the members of your community about the same thing you mentioned to us? Because we need a consistent approach and consistent stand from you so that we understand you. Thank you. My name is Ziwan from Islamic University
sorry,
College.
what's your name again?
Ziwan, Z-I-W-E-N.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
The guy.
Ganesh, NUC. Actually, with regards to Ziwan's statement, I do agree because I do read your blog and it sounds very different from what you're telling us now. Actually, sorry. I read your blog and it's very contrasting to what you're telling us now. Anyway.
Khairy, saying that, taking a few points from what we can as well, that we have come a long way and the government should stop treating the rakyat as immatures. I would like to ask that, what do you think that how Bumi Putras are currently being treated in terms of equal business opportunity, and what you as an UMNO youth leader would you do to help the Bumi Putra in order for them to receive more, earn more equal business opportunity within the rest of the race in Malaysia? Because I don't think it's been as equal as it should be, or we're not getting as much as we're working hard for. So what do you think that you as a leader should do to help your own race? Thank you.
A few questions, great questions. The first question from Lilian, when she asked this question, everyone went silent. How can there be one Malaysia when there's NEP? Let's call this the ISA pin. If I don't like the question, I'm just going to chuck this at you. How can there be one Malaysia when there's NEP? Okay. Let's talk about the NEP. The NEP was formulated in 1970. 1970, and the crux of the NEP, I don't know what it is that you think the NEP is, but the crux of the NEP is very simple. And in any case, FYI, just details. The NEP itself doesn't exist anymore, it's been replaced twice already. But nevertheless, I understand that you mean the spirit of the NEP still remains. Now, what are the two things about the NEP? The first is restructuring of society. It was never intended to have any other effect than to ensure that the society, Malaysia at that point in time, did not have economic function identified with race. Empathy. Try and empathize 1970. The business community was dominated, the local business community was dominated by one ethnic community. The civil service, rudimentary, and also armed forces, police, were all dominated by one ethnic community. Laborers in the estate and the tin mines were all dominated by one ethnic community. You had different silos, different economic silos. And that posed a problem. It posed a problem when you have market-dominant ethnic minorities, because the majority suddenly turns around and says, there's something wrong here. And it creates for a lot of tension. That's why the first task of the NEP was to say, okay, we're going to make sure that society is restructured so that there's no ethnic identification with economic activity, one. Secondly, the NEP was designed to eradicate poverty regardless of race, regardless of ethnicity. So to me, in its purest form, the NEP, in fact, was a tool towards national unity. Now, the problem is, and I'm capable of self-criticism, the problem is that there were some abuses of the NEP along the way, where it didn't help just poor people. It helped a certain group of people, it helped a certain class of people. Inequity within the Malay community also became worse. Rich Malays became richer, poor Malays became poorer. So there was a problem there. But the NEP itself does not pose a hindrance to national unity and therefore one Malaysia, if it's practiced as the way it is. Now, restructuring of society, you may ask yourself, well, there's a problem, because if you look at the civil service, it's almost 100% Malay. If you look at the GLCs, it's almost 100% Malay. If you look at the security forces, almost 100% Malay. So what restructuring of society are you talking about? But some Malays will stand up and say, well, name me one public listed company which is majority owned by a non-Malay, which has a Malay CEO. And I bet you'd be hard pressed to name one. And you can say, well, that's because of merit. You try saying that, and I think a lot of Malays will stand up and say, excuse me, are you saying that that's because of merit? That's not quite right. Are you saying that we're not professional, we're not trained, we're not qualified? Something not right there. So my point is this, my point is, the obstacle to one Malaysia is not the policy. The obstacle to one Malaysia is always our sincerity in implementing these policies. So that's why I think I don't have a problem with the NEP. I don't have a problem with one Malaysia, and I don't think that they're mutually exclusive. Zivan's point about, and then Ganesh also sort of came in and sort of lobbed a grenade at me on this as well. The question is, will the real guy stand up? Essentially, who's the real guy? I'm puzzled by the reference to the blog though, because you see, I'm not stupid. In this day and age, you cannot say something here and not expect it to be reported and read elsewhere. I cannot say something at an UMNO function and expect it not to be reported here as well. There needs to be some level of consistency, even though you stress different things for different audience. But it doesn't mean you say different things to different people. I'm quite consistent. In my blog, I spoke out against I spoke for the need to amend the ISA. I've written about the need for political empathy. When Islamic magazine sent 2 of their reporters undercover to a Catholic mass and to take sacrament, to take communion, you know, the wafer, and spat it out and took a photo. I was the only UMNO politician to speak out against that Muslim magazine. So I think I'm consistent. I think I'm quite consistent. And if you want to know how consistent I'm going to be, you have to judge me over a period of time. In October, I'm going to give my first policy address as UMNO Youth Leader at the UMNO Youth General Assembly. You can watch. That's in front of a hardcore UMNO audience, as right-wing as they come. And then you'll see. Then you'll see which Khairy stands up there. Ganesh, see, maybe I'm simplifying your question a bit, but what I wrote down, Ganesh, beer a fundamental right. And I don't quite think that's just the answer. Ganesh, beer a fundamental right, my gosh. No, but seriously, look, the point that you raise is moral policing. To what extent should the state nanny people around? Well, I think it exists everywhere, and there needs to be some level of policing because, yes, I agree with you, it starts at home. Parents should educate their kids. Teachers should educate their pupils, their students, not to do things. But you can't be with kids 24/7. Kids can access the internet so easily nowadays, and they're, peer pressure and all these things. So I don't think there's anything fundamentally wrong. Mengumumkan ketibaan yang berhormat Nancy Bosukun. As liberal and foresighted as I am, I still can't take away myself from this feudal mentality. Sir, please, Asik. Tepuk sikit. Shall I do the hidup Bosukun or something? Quickly, the last point, because I have lots. One, Johan said business opportunities for people to trust. See, this is politics of empathy. When he said that, I saw a lot of people going, no, this is a bad question. But that's empathy. I mean, he's coming from a certain perspective. His perspective saying that there's not enough opportunities for the Bumiputera community. So empathize with that. Try and find out where he's coming from. Don't dismiss it, because those are genuine concerns that he's raising. I won't answer it because it'll take too long, but my only point is empathize with it. Don't just nod your head and say, shake your head and say, man, that question sucks. I mean, try and understand. Try and understand where he's coming from. Okay?